All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we are doing positive and negative drawings again. So once again, take out your sketchbook, turn to the back of a drill page, and we're going to label it positive, negative, number 2. So this time, instead of working from an image, you are working from a leaf page. So everybody at your table should get one of these. They should be passed out. There are plenty of extras, so if you have time and you want to do more than one today during class, you can, but you probably won't have time. If you do have time, that probably means you're doing something incorrectly. So, once again, just like last class, I don't want you to be doing this with me. I want you to watch and then do it on your own because by listening to me right now, you are activating your left brain. And this is another right brain activity. So, we're going to read the directions. So, purpose of this exercise. This exercise builds on your new ability to see and draw edges by introducing you to one of the most important skills in drawing, seeing and drawing negative spaces. Negative spaces are important for 3 reasons. Seeing negative spaces makes it easy to draw difficult views, especially foreshortened views. An emphasis on negative spaces strengthens and improves the unity of your composition. And focusing on negative spaces causes the language mode of your brain to drop out. When you focus on empty space, the language mode seems to, in effect, say, I can't deal with nothing. It takes a moment for the negative space to pop into focus as a shape. This increment of time may be the language mode objecting. What are you looking at? I can't name that. If you're going to look at nothing, I am dropping out. I am leaving. Perfect. Just what we want. So, just like last class, where we were drawing the space where stuff is not. The whole purpose is to draw the space where stuff is not. So you are not drawing the leaves. You are drawing the brown paper. Okay? So I know this seems a little complicated, but we're going to do the same thing we did last class. So you've got your eraser again, and you've got your chart or your graphite stick, and you've got your smudge board or your smudge paper or smudge cloth. So this time around, we're not going to do because we're not working from something that has that grid on it. You're just going to gray out your paper. So once again, scribble kind of lightly so that we don't have any of those scribble marks, but you're using like big spaces. Then take your smudge paper or your smudge cloth and smudge your paper all over. Once again, you're not using a pencil to draw today. You are using your eraser. So, set your image so it's sitting right next to each other. Mine are going to kind of go on top of each other so you can see both, but I'm just going to do this little section right here. So, start at the edge of the paper. And actually, I should get this smudge. Make sure your smudge gets almost all the way up to the edge of the paper because you can see how this paper is almost the same size, so you don't have to shrink it. You don't have to grow it. You can leave it exactly the same size that it is. So I can go all the way to the edges of that paper. So if I look at the edge right up here, I can see there's a shape that starts, and I can even use my fingers if I want to be a little bit left brainy, and I can use my fingers to measure. So it starts in there, and that space goes in, and then it follows this kind of curvy, and it comes out. Oops. See, I messed up. Go in, resmudge. So I erased too far because that negative space goes out and then back in, and then I can start erasing on the inside, and then it curves in. Let's focus so you guys can see a little bit better. Oops, hold on. Let me try. Hold on. Technical difficulties. Okay. There we go. Now you can see both. So I'm going to erase there, and then I see that it kind of comes up like this, and it comes up like this, and that kind of triangle-y shape, and then I can erase in that space. So once again, I'm not drawing the leaves. I'm drawing the space between the leaves. So then there's a little bit of a space right here, and then there's a little bit of a space right here that comes in and almost touches that space, and then it kind of comes in like that. So once again, this drawing isn't going to be perfect, and that's perfectly fine. That's that little space and then that little space. You want to get all those kind of little spaces that you see. Work your way from the edges, kind of like I'm working, so that I see where that edge. So right here, there's nothing. There's nothing. But here's where that negative space starts back up, and it kind of goes up and in. If you have extra time, you can try more than one. Or if you're having too much difficulty with your first one, you can take and just re-scrub. Some of these leaves are harder than others. So you can pick one that's a little easier. I kind of picked one of the harder ones. Also, if you're having trouble seeing and you want to make it a little darker, you can always go in, and once you know that that's a positive space, you can go in, make it a little bit darker, and then use your smudge cloth to smudge it. But once again, I don't want to see you drawing an outline. I don't want you to see you doing this. That's not what we're doing today. We're drawing using that negative space. You can use this to darken sections. But see, I'm using the scribble method. I'm scribbling back and forth to darken it. And then I can darken it. And then if I see, oh wait, that shape isn't quite right, I can go in and erase. Okay? So now you're going to work on drawing the brown paper on these pages, on these leaf sheets. Once you're done, you can make sure to put your graphite sticks, your erasers, and your smudges back into your table bins, and neatly and carefully, so that these are ready for the next class, put these back in your table, in the black crate where they belong. So once again, today is a right brain activity. That means 0 left brain, 0 talking, not even whispers. So I or my substitute is going to give you a 5 count to get all your supplies in front of you so that you can get started and not